Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tessie and today we're going to be recreating this style. If you're new, you're welcome. If you're yet to subscribe, kindly do that and let's get right into the video. So guys, I'll be making use of this fabric. It's called a crepe and I have 3 yards. So guys, this style initially it's a skirt and a top, but I don't want mine to be a skirt and a top. I want it to just be a gown. In case you want a skirt and a top, you can cut yours as a skirt and a top. Hope you understand. And for the cowl effect at the back, I don't want it. I have a video on how to make a cowl dress, so I'll drop the link for you guys to watch. So like I said, mine is going to be a gown. So what we'll do is to cut out the top part, that's the half length first. So at the starting point, I'm going to chalk this as my starting line. So at that starting line, I'll place my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So the shoulder divided by 2, I chalked it down there and I came down to my armhole line, which is 9 inches. And then the half length is 17. I added half inch for joining allowance and I connected my lines. So what I'll be doing next is placing the neck line. I'm using 3.5 by 3 inches. I connected my neckline. And at the shoulder area, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I connected it to the shoulder. So what I'll do is check what I have at that chest line area, divide it by 2 and come in by half inch. And at the chest line, I'll place my bust measurement divided by 4. So the bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches. So what I'll do next is to curve in my armhole. So what I'll be doing next is at the waistline, I'll place my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches for my sewing allowance. So I'll connect my lines and then I'm going to be cutting it out. So guys, like I said, this style it's a top and a skirt. So if you want a cowl effect at the back, just watch this video. You would make a cowl top and then the zip is going to be on the side. Hope you understand, but mine is just going to be a gown and I don't want a cowl effect at the back. So since I'm not adding a cowl effect at the back, I'm just going to be chalking out my 2 inches for my zip allowance all the way down and I'll connect it into a straight line. Now I'll place the front after the zip allowance line. So I'm still emphasizing on the back. If you want a cowl effect, just watch the video and then make the cowl dress, just add your zip at the side. So mine is just going to be a V neckline for the back. So guys, at the waistline to eliminate zipper bulge, I'll be coming in here by 1 inch. And then from this point, I'm going to slash all the way up. So we're good to go. I'll go ahead now to cut it out. Now for the back neckline, I'll come down by 7.5 inches. Then I'll give it a V-line effect. So guys, I'll connect this line into the zip allowance. We're good to go. I'll go ahead now to cut out my neckline. So guys, what I'll be doing next is cutting out the skirt part. So I folded my fabric into 2 as you can see, and then I'm going to be chalking my starting points. So what we'll do next is to take out our half length. So I took out my half length of 17 inches and then from that point I'll be chalking the full length of my gown. So the full length is 37 inches, but I added extra 2 inches for folding allowance. So I connected it into a straight line. So what I'll be doing next is at the starting point, that's the waistline, I'll come down to my hip line. So from the waist to the hip, 10 inches, I connected it into a straight line. At the waistline, I'll be placing my waist measurement divided by 4. So the waist divided by 4 is 8 plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. At the hip area, I'll place the hip measurement divided by 4. So the hip divided by 4 is 11. So guys, this gown is like an A-line gown. It depends on how free you want it to be. For me, I added extra 3 inches to my hip measurement and then 1 inch for sewing allowance, which gave me total of 4 inches. So I added total of 4 inches as you can see. So I have my hip measurement divided by 4, and I added 4 inches, 3 inches for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance. Hope you understand. So it depends on how free you want this area to be. You can add 4 inches, 5 inches, it depends on your preference. So I'll go ahead now to connect my lines together. So from the waist I'll connect to the hip, and from the hip I'll give it an A-line effect all the way down. So we are good to go. I'm just going to blend my lines. So guys, after blending my line, at this point I'll come up by 2 inches just to give that part a curve. So I came up by 2 inches and I connected it back to the initial line. So guys, we're good to go. I'll go ahead now to cut out. So after cutting, we're going to be cutting out the back. So for the back, I folded my fabric into two, and then I'm going to be chalking my 2 inches for my zip allowance. So I'll chalk 2 inches all the way down. After doing that, I'll connect it into a straight line. Then I'll place the front on the back. After the zip allowance area, I'll go ahead now to cut out my fabric. So guys, I'll go ahead now to cut out my zip allowance area. So guys, for the front part, I've cut out my facing for both the front and the back. So I add my facing right side facing each other and stitch using 1/2 inch. I'll do the same thing for the back piece as well. So what we'll be doing next is working on the slanted part of the skirt. Hope you understand. So I'll fold my fabric into two, as you can see, and then place my skirt on it and cut out the exact shape. So guys, after cutting out the exact shape, this is what it looks like, as you can see. So I'll take out my fabric and we'll be working on the pattern. So we're going to be slashing. So now to slash, it depends on how you want the slash to be. You can do the slash at this point all the way down here, or if you want it from this point all the way down. So mine is going to be from this side of the pattern. So from the waistline, I'll come down to my hip line. So the hip line is 10 inches. So I came down to 10 inches, and at this part I'll be coming up by 3 inches. So from the waistline I came up by 10 inches, and from this down part I came up here by 3 inches. So I'm just going to be curving my lines together. Hope you understand. So I use my curve ruler to do that. So it depends on the curve that you want. You can curve yours in. It depends on your preference. This is what mine looks like. I'm just going to curve the lines, and then we are good to go. So I'll go ahead now to cut out my pattern. So guys, I'll place my pattern on my fabric at the right side, and then when you're cutting, please leave 1/2 inch for joining allowance at the down parts. So what we'll be doing next is cutting out the back. So for the back, I'm just going to fold my pattern into two and chalk out 2 inches for my zipper allowance. So go ahead, fold your fabric into two and chalk out 2 inches for your zipper allowance. Then you place your pattern after the zipper allowance line. So I'll place it after that line, and I'll go ahead now to cut out the exact shape. So guys, if you've watched the video to this point and you're yet to subscribe or like this video, so guys, after cutting out, I'm going to be cutting out the zip allowance line as well. So we're good to go. I'll go ahead now to pin my zip allowance line. So pin it down this way. So after pinning that part, this is what it looks like, as you can see. So make sure you pin your zip allowance line, and then you place your pattern. You place it this way. So you go ahead now to cut out the exact shape you have. So guys, after doing that, we're going to be folding the down part. So when you place your fabric together, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to be using my Emi gum to fold the down part and also fold the other part as well. So if you want to stitch, you can stitch and fold. Also do the same thing for the back. So guys, quickly I'm going to be cutting out my sleeve. So I folded my fabric into 4 and then chalked the starting point, and from that point I took the length of my sleeve, and then I used my free hand to carve out my armhole. Then from that point I just took the round sleeve, and from this point here I went straight down and then give it an A-line effect. So this is what it looks like. So I go ahead now to cut out my fabric. So you can use any sleeve of your choice. It depends on how you want it. So guys, we're going to be adding tiny ropes at the sleeve. So I have 4 pieces. What I have here is 2 inches. I'm going to fold it and then make it as a rope. So what I'll do next is to fold the down part of my sleeve, and after folding the down part of my sleeve, I'm going to chalk where I want the rope to be. So I'll go ahead now to fold the rope and then place it somewhere here, and I'll be stitching. I'll do the same thing for this part as well. So guys, after hemming the skirt part, this is what it looks like. I've also hemmed the slanted part as well. So I'll place them right side facing each other this way and stitch using 1/2 inch to hold them down. I'll do the same thing here as well. And then we're going to be adding the top part to the down part. So I'll place them right side facing each other and stitch using 1/2 inch. I'll do the same thing for the back as well. I'll place them together and stitch to hold them together. So I'll place the top part of the down this way and then join them together, placing them right side facing each other, stitching using 1/2 inch. I'll do the same thing for here as well. So guys, after stitching, this is what it looks like. Then for the back, I've closed the zip allowance area for now, as you can see. So what I'll do is to place my fabric right side facing each other and then stitch the shoulder part using 1/2 inch. So I'll stitch using 1/2 inch here and also here as well. Then for the sleeve, I've gone ahead to end the down part of my sleeve. So what I'll do is from the down part, I will chalk 5 inches. So it depends on where you want the rope to be. So mine is 5 inches, and I'll also chalk 5 inches at this point. And I'll do the same thing for the other sleeve as well. Then I've gone ahead to fold my rope. As you can see, I'll place it at that 5 inches line and then stitch to hold it in place. I'll do the same thing for this part as well, and also do the same thing for this other sleeve as well. So I'll place it at that line and stitch, and I'll also do the same thing here. I'll place it and then stitch. Then we're going to be folding and stitching the sleeve. So guys, after joining the shoulder together, I'll go ahead now to attach my sleeve on the dress. So I'll attach my sleeve, and after doing that, I'm going to pin my fabrics together. So I'll go ahead now to use my pin to pin them together. So guys, I'll go ahead now to shape the dress. At the hip line, I'm not shaping to my exact hip. I'm going to make it very free and then shape it, giving it an A-line effect all the way down. After doing that, I added the zip, and then this is the end result. So guys, this is what the gown looks like. As you can see, you can make yours a top and a skirt as shown on the thumbnail, but I wanted mine a gown, so this is it. I love the fit. I'm just going to iron it properly, and then we are good to go. Hope this tutorial was helpful. Please do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye.